a big platform, for networking. And today we have a very interesting topic. We will speak about renewables in Africa and Middle East. We have invited experienced people, experienced experts from all the continents to our webinar today. My name is Dr. Igor Gladkov. I am a director of Energy Alliance of European Technology Chamber, and now I will show you a short video about Energy Chamber and its activities, and then we make a short introduction. Thank you very much. And now I will show you a short, I hope you can see it, a short information about our UTech chamber. It's our agenda, but very, very short about UTech chamber. We are working like a very, very big, high-level networking platform. We are organized in 16 alliances. We have regional alliances like Africa, China, Latin America, or German-speaking alliance. Here you can see it. We have tech alliances. We are now in the energy alliance and impact alliances, finance, SDG, women in tech, climate action. So these alliances, they are a kind of commissions joining people and attending people that have interest in these topics, and they are working together with new projects. And the main thing in our work, commercialization of our ideas, new business opportunities, concrete projects, concrete contacts that we can provide to our advocates and our guests, because our digital platform is really ultra modern. We are arranging about 200 webinars per year. We have over 100,000 registrants, and it is not 90% company owners and decision makers. It is very, very important. Our webinars are being promoted in the social media, in all social media we have, and our three main things are that we can provide access to speakers and panelists, because we have 700 experts. Like today, I have mentioned, we have experts of high level today, and it's every time the same case, and we can provide access because we are organizing networking groups and inviting our speakers. And after this webinar next week, we will organize a working group and invite you who have interest for closer discussion on these topics. Then we have business opportunity. We are creating business opportunities, and we are working with you projects and funding. Now we are preparing several projects. Dear friends, please unmute yourself. Dear technical support, please control it. Yes, that no sound is behind. So now we are preparing in the frame of UTech Chamber. We are preparing a very interesting, very interesting program, funding program, with European German funds. To be informed about it, please join our LinkedIn group. I will put all the information there and now in the public chat. It's our ecosystem. We have very many promotion tools, position papers, white papers, everything, newsletters, tenders, everything we have. I can inform you about it if you join us. And our future, the last what I have to say, our wonderful future automated matchmaking. So if you are advocate of UTech, you can get access to all these people, all these companies, but not from the internet, but from in the frame of our work, of our activity, of UTech Chamber. It's our recommendation, and it is very important in my opinion. Please, our contacts here, and I will put my private contacts now in the public chat. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I would like to invite Mr. Eyitayo Ayakunle from Nigeria, who has prepared a very interesting keynote presentation for us. Please introduce yourself, Eyitayo. We know you, but our people who don't know you yet, it is of great interest. We have today more than 200 registrants. Very significant feedback is being awaited. Please, your turn to the word, please. Tayo?
Yes, please. Can I have the slides, please?
Yes. Just a second. Just a second, Tayo. But you can introduce yourself already, yes?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, respectable professionals, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen, fellow speakers, officials, members, and attendees. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eyitayo Ayakunle, CEO of Greenmark Innovation and Associates. I am honored to be one of the speakers in today's Energy Alliance webinar themed Renewable Resources Development in Africa and Middle East. As I speak today, I profile Project MGN, the solution to a global energy crisis. Thank you. Okay, next page, please. Greenmark Innovations and Associates is a company duly registered in the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the United States of America. At Greenmark, our business is in renewable clean energy products. We design, fabricate, and manufacture, specializing in HVAC, heat, ventilation, and air conditioning. We design and fabricate cooling machines that are powered by solar energy. Our products are very relevant to agriculture for heat control, refrigeration, for storage and preservation. Next page. Okay. Project MGM, Magnetic Graphite Mill. It's basically about generating electricity with graphite. This mill is driven by the systemic coordination of magnets, which shift the balance from one side to the other to manipulate graphite as its driving force. The MGN is a fuelless drive for electricity turbine. It is a clean technology, non-complex and extremely efficient at power generation. It can be manufactured in different sizes, hence the capacity at which power is generated. It needs no interference with atmospheric conditions like wind, water, or sunlight. Next page, please. Okay. How is the MGM better? Let us do a little comparison, please. Next page. Next page. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That is the windmill. The windmill is a very brilliant concept, no doubt about it. Very brilliant. Uh, Take a look at image A. Image A is a close section of the windmill. Take a look at the propeller and shaft connected to the gear and then to the generator. The propeller is so powerful such that it could run more than 10 generators, but the problem is height. The windmill needs an elevation of 82 feet to properly engage with the wind. A 100 kVA generator weighs about 2 tons. It is difficult to suspend more than 1 or 2 generators at an elevation of 82 feet with just one tower. As a result of its elevation, only 1 or 2 generators could be placed in its compartment, thereby limiting the potential at which the windmill could generate by about 400% or more. This means that the windmill has the potential to generate about 400% more of what is currently generating. Height is the problem of the windmill. Another issue is the cost implications. A kilowatt windmill costs about $200,000. This excludes the cost of installation, which is about $90,000. A 50 kilowatt diesel generator costs less than $25,000. So the windmill is not cost effective over a short period of time. Next page, please. Next page. Next page. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Okay. This is a solar plant. Solar energy is another brilliant generating concept. Take a look at image A. It's a solar plant. To install a 1 megawatt plant would cost about $1.2 million. 4 acres of land is required for that. Sorry, please. Sorry about that. Yeah. But the stability and fluctuation of the electricity generation is determined by nature. Take a look at image B. The graph plots the rate at which the sun shines and the level at which solar is generated. 12 hours of the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Power is generated at an unstable capacity. You can expect the sun to shine today, but Mother Nature would decide otherwise. At less than 30% efficiency and changing weather conditions, 12 hours of consistent and effective power generation cannot be guaranteed. Solar power is the solar power concept cannot be controlled, thereby cannot generate at maximum capacity. It's at the mercy of nature. Yeah, nature determines what goes around with solar energy. So to achieve stability with solar energy, you need to invest heavily in batteries, but the cost of standard grade batteries are not smiling, as we all know. Next page, please. Okay, thank you. Consider the MGM. Only one magnetic gravity mill could drive an entire 10 megawatt or more. How? Next page, please. Let's look into what makes up the MGM. Briefly take a look at image A. Could have been this could be everybody's thinking. Yes, it could have been another tower just like the others, but the MGM is a better and different idea. Take a look at image B, please. You can see the rotor and the propeller shaft, but instead of the vertical approach, the MGM concept is horizontal. So take a look at image C. You can see the pit being dug in the ground to accommodate the arms of the rotor. You can see the support help lay the propeller shaft horizontally. Next page, please. Image A is the rotor. It consists of the weight poles, and axle. Image B is the top side view of the rotor. You can see the description of the weight, poles, and axle. The axle and the axis is the middle section of, and it consists of a powerful bearing. So, image C, the entire rotor and two hangers, as you can see, makes up the magnetic gravity mill. Next page, please. This is the generating compartment of the MGN. You can see the engager, the gear, the double high-speed drive and propeller shafts behind the gears. Then you can see the magnetic generators and the power converters to convert direct current to alternate current. Next page, please. The basis of the MGN concept. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, this is a comical illustration. It depicts the progression of putting together the MGN power generating plant. Image A, excavation and concrete paving of land is required. Less than 4 acres of land is needed to generate a 10 megawatt plant. Image B, pit needs to be dug to accommodate the arms of the rotor during rotation. If you remember, we discussed this in page 7. Image C, you can see, image C, the pit and concrete paving is completed. Image D, here you can see both hangars erected. That's image C. I hope you can see. Sorry about the tiny images. Yeah, but you want to see better. Next page, please. Now we go to image E. That is, there comes the rotor being lifted into position, supposedly with a crane. Image F, the rotor is fitted to the hangars. The MGN is in position. If you relate the images of the truck to that of the workers on site, you can imagine the size of the magnetic gravity mill, the magnitude of that mill. Image G, propeller shaft laid and connected. You can see the power generating set, engagers, gear, generators, and wiring being installed. Next page, please. Next page. Okay, thank you. This is the end result of the MGN power generating plant. There you can see the magnetic gravity mill and other components in position. You can see the transmission, the transformers and transmission of power to the city. Enjoy the beauty of this picture for a while. Then we can go to the next page. Take another look at the power generating components. Next page. Next page, please. And now we can talk about the advantages. Advantages, please. Number one, solar power needs the sun. Windmill needs the wind and altitude. Marine and hydro power needs water, which are seasonal and not available all around the year. The MGN needs gravity, which is available all around the year. As it needs no interference with atmospheric conditions, the MGN could be concealed. It could be made into a subterranean power generating facility, even from dangerous hazard in terms of conflict. Number three, it is unique, more efficient, uncomplicated, and straightforward. It is unlike any other green energy generating concept. Number four, it is clean and fuelless. It is a clean and fuelless power turbine that is capable of powering millions of homes. It will significantly reduce the global reliance on fossil fuel power generation. Number five, it might not fly our jets or drive our heavy capacity vehicle, but it will power every electric automobile and generate power to serve the industrial sector substantially. The MGN is largely the solution to global warming. Number six, because of its horizontal placement, only one MGN turbine could drive a 10 megawatt plant or more. Number seven, It needs no interference with atmospheric conditions. It is not determined by the weather. The NGN is perfect for any region at any time of the year. Next page, please. Our objectives, thank you. Our objectives. Number 1, finding solutions to global warming. Number 2, enhancing clean, green energy, thereby reducing the carbon emission problem. Number 3, reducing global reliance on fossil fuel for power generation. Number 4, more affordable power solutions. Number 5, renewable energy that is clean and independent of regular natural restrictions. Number 6, like it was said, it cannot fly our jets or fuel machineries that need combustion. The NGN is not created to eradicate the need for fossil fuel. No, it's not created to eradicate the need for fossil fuel. It is created to help the world achieve a climate balance. That's our main goal, to help the world achieve a climate balance. Now, project methods. This is how the NGN could be utilized. Number 1, it can be built on a modular scale to support farms and facilities that are off-grid, like an electric high-speed train and an electric automobile power charge station. Now we go to the filling station for automobiles with gasoline, but the NGN is very crucial to powering electric motors in their charge station. Number 2, it could be engineered or assembled at a larger capacity to power an entire county or community. Number 3, it could be built at maximum capacity to support the grid. Number 4, it could also be engineered specifically for special services. Our interest. We seek to discuss and collaborate with representatives of government and organizations of repute in the energy sector. We look forward to interest of recognized institutions of technology and engineering at university level. Also, our interest extends to software technology projects with a focus on automation. We look forward to stakeholders in funding, seeds, and grants that are proposed for renewable energy projects. Thank you for listening, and you can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next page. Just a second. Here. Yes.
For more information, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tayo. I would like to, yes, I have many questions on your presentation. I think that our attendants also do have questions and comments, and I see it in the public chat. A reminder for all the participants and for our speakers and panelists, please look at in the chat, in the public chat here, and you can leave comments and questions for discussion in our session today. Yes, we have not so much time, but we will try to answer all your questions. And now I would like to invite Mr. Thomas Rieger. Thomas, I give you presenter rights. Yes, Thomas.
Do you have my presentation, Igor? Can you pull it up? Last time I tried to present, but it didn't work.
No, but I don't have it.
Let me see. I send it to you this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you can start with introduction, and I will.
Okay, perfect. Super.
I will just.
Fantastic. Just check your email. It should have been there in the last 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
Yep. So my name is Thomas. I'm the CEO of Solar Kiosk. Solar Kiosk has started to work predominantly in rural villages, in Africa. And our main goal is to bring access to electricity into off-grid locations, into villages, into what we used to call the BOP, the bottom of the pyramid communities. At the end of 2019, we had over 280 projects across 6 countries in Africa. So as this has been a very long time, we have been working in the field, and today's topic is renewable resources in Africa. I did a little historical, an outlook on renewable energies in Africa, why they can help, how they can help, alongside with our history. And let's just dive right into it. Today we can see that Africa is getting more and more energy hungry with increasing industry and everything. And today, unfortunately, much of it is powered with fossil fuels, where the outlook, here a picture from the IEA, is the development of renewable energies as a clear path forward to solve a lot of issues in Africa. Igor, can you go to the next slide? We can look at the resources itself. I will focus a little bit on solar energy because that's the field that we're working in. Igor is going to show us the next slide here. There is a discrepancy in the energy mix in Africa when you look at the fact that Africa has the richest concentration of natural resources. So, for example, 30% of all earth mineral resources are found in the African continent, but that goes also for renewable energy resources. Here is the example of the irradiation map worldwide, and we can see that in Africa we have the richest irradiation resources that just cries out for solar as one of the technologies to be installed there. So there's a tremendous potential for the development of renewable energies in Africa. Igor, you can go to the next slide. Despite that fact, we can see that Africa is still in the dark today. When we started in this field back in 2011, 1.3 billion people in the world lived without access to electricity. Much has, been done. Companies like us and other companies that are also here presented. And today, we're looking at still 770 million people. SDG 7 says that in 2030, everybody should have access to energy, especially from renewable sources. If we look, again, a focus on where are those people living that don't have access to electricity, of course, we can see that from the 770 million, 572 million people are in Africa, and they don't have access to electricity. Then, a lot has been done and a lot of work has been done, but the COVID-19 crisis, of course, put us a very deep stop into the developments. The low energy purchase power of households that are not connected to the grid went further down through the COVID crisis, and the curve that has been nicely developing had an interruption, so we need to catch up again. If we look at the next slide, that the fact that Africa has such rich energy resources is not new. In 2003, we had an initiative that was a European-driven initiative with a lot of big companies that formed the Desertec initiative. That was a simple and an ingenious idea to create solar-powered energy in Africa and then, use it in Europe. If you look at the potential by only covering 1.2% of the Sahara Desert in solar panels, you could cover the whole world's energy needs. That's just a simple fact. But the problem at that stage in 2003, back then, it failed for the first time, of course, because the transmission of energy and the cost inefficiency of solar PV at that stage was prohibitive to fold that project out in a larger scale and really meet the goals that we had. And that's a big issue. If we look at the next slide, exactly transmission is a huge issue. You know, Igor, if you can switch to the next slide, you know, that the transmission for Desertec to transport energy that has been created in Africa and bring it back to Europe is the same within Africa. You have a huge issue with transmission, non-existing transmission, you know, infrastructure that is not up to par to bring electricity across the continent. There would be so much money, you know, needed to pour into infrastructure development, transmit energy that is generated centrally and bring it to, you know, last mile communities that are just, you know, not connected and will not be connected over decades to come. You know, this is the main reason why the urban population, you know, this is the main reason why urban populations are only half as likely rural populations are only half as likely as their urban counterparts to have access to electricity. And if you look at the fact that 68% of Africans live in areas that are served by electricity grids, you also can calculate that the rest of them are living in areas that are not served by electricity grid. So even in the case that much will be invested in energy generation, the lack of transmission infrastructure will be the main reason why many rural communities will not profit of this development. You can stay on the slide. So, you know, back in 2000 to 2005, a lot of decentralized small solutions were introduced into the markets that should, you know, target those communities that are off grid. So a lot of these small lanterns and pocket lights and different products, you know, markets, you could have a light, you could eventually charge, you know, a mobile phone. And these type of products have made big inroads in the markets, but the development was slow, you know. But today there is a significant market that has been created. On this slide, we can see that the products gotten bigger, and there was a problem with affordability. So the pay-as-you-go sector popped up, where you can purchase those products on loans and credits, where you can slowly pay them back until you own them. Then from there on, we were looking at what the product actually can do besides, you know, light and phone charging, and then we came to the buzzword productive use of energy that can really use solar power to support and create income generating activities such as, you know, here irrigation, or like Tayo before mentioned, you know, cold storage for farming products to reduce post-harvest losses, and other applications that could be done with bigger solar power. So the system grew. And then to the next slide, please. Then, you know, the next step was to form mini grids, and we heard before, you know, from Tayo, mini grids can, you know, today, and there's a lot of mini grids popping up, especially also in Nigeria with the Renewable Energy Association that is pushing this, can, you know, provide energy for whole communities that now have decentralized solutions that are not depending on transmission, and that's still, you know, the big factor. You generate electricity. Where do you use it? Why don't you generate it where it is needed and where there is no electricity today? And you know, circumventing the issue that there is no transmission available, and then, you know, commerce and industry, a lot of African, you know, players and industries and organizations are today switching to solar to have a reliable resource of energy, because even if there is grid, often enough you experience a lot of blackouts and non-functional grids. So a lot of you know, players are switching to install solar on their rooftops and have a reliable resource of energy. To the next slide, please, Igor. And from there, you know, now we are having more and more utility scale projects, huge megawatt projects, started, you know, in bigger countries like South Africa, but also going to other countries that are now feeding electricity back in the grid. And the newest trend, and I saw the question in the chat before, now everybody's talking about green hydrogen. One big project that is currently being built is a German company that will install capacity wind and solar in Africa, hundreds of megawatts, producing green hydrogen, that then can be transported even if there is no electricity grid, and used wherever energy is needed. So, from the small pocket light to this kind of solutions, we are catching on what's needed. For us, we in 2011, we were always looking at how to use electricity, and we started with a project where we invented a solar power integrated kiosk that's called the eHub, and that was built with the aim to provide access to such small solar power products to rural villages and communities. From there, we developed into something much different because we had energy available in communities where there was none. So you can go to the next slide, Igor. So here we ventured out and we said, this is not enough. We have this kiosk that can, give access to electricity and solar power products, but there's other entrepreneurs in the marketplace that also need electricity to work more efficient, to work in the nighttime, and so on and so forth. So we created the solar powered marketplace where local entrepreneurs could come and enjoy electricity and do their business. So we create kind of a marketplace within the rural villages that offered, all kinds of services and products, from restaurants over cinemas, over, productive use of energy in the agricultural field, where we would have grain mills and cold storage spaces that can be powered by solar. And then today, we revamped that all, and you can go to the next slide, Dr. Igor, into a project that we call the Pulse. So, and I won't bore you for too long anymore. So within the Pulse, we are, pulling together with a keen look on what such agricultural off-grid farming communities actually need in one big project that we want to install in many, many villages across Africa that will, have reliable energy, that will have productive use appliances, that will look at the most needs of such communities, that is from, safe drinking water, so we will purify water for consumption, we will deliver water for irrigation and agriculture, we will have cold storage spaces to reduce post-harvest losses, we will look at transport in communities using e-mobility, and we have more than 20 partners, national and international partners, that are coming together in this project, seeing the opportunity of serving such communities by the infrastructure and the electricity that we will provide to them within the Pulse. And we're very excited to announce that this month we are starting with the first pilot in Rwanda, and then from there we will develop very, very fast. A couple of colleagues that are also presented here are part of this project, and we're very much looking forward, to bring that all together and to really bring change into communities that otherwise have difficult to gain access to energy services and productive use. So to really foster economic growth in such communities. Thank you very much.
Thomas, thanks a lot. We have some questions in the chat. Yes, some questions are addressed to Tayo, but we have panelists who can participate or would participate. Mr. Titus Gakwaya, but I don't see that he is able to speak. Mr. Dr. Ikechi Agbuka.
I can speak.
You can speak. Very good, very good, very good.
Yes.
Titus, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Igor. I'm very grateful for being on the EUTech Energy Science since I came aboard, since we started the first webinar, I've gained a lot. I came thinking of solar energy, but again, as I stayed longer, today I added at least MGM. I had hydrogen, I had this and that. And actually, I've been discussing in the league with Thomas over how we can complement each other as when we are on the same field with more, and then we can add more, then again with those and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have very few slides, many are comments, and again, I'll be adding from my colleague submissions. So, renewable energy resources development are very essential in Africa. Their development and the promotion among smaller producers who do increase their production, value of the products, products, and wealth creation. Within we know the constraint, only that this last few years, the climate change has become too acute that everybody is being touched. It is now the consequence that we are all very sensitive to it. But we have the resources, as you have seen what Thomas showed, I have seen what Mr. Tayo showed. In Africa, we are not supposed to be crying for food, crying for this. We have the vast land, we have vast country of the water, we have even the human resources. The coordination of our funds would need more. Let's see the next page. Yeah, I said that agricultural development in Africa, I assume are on 3 lines, where when you think of the land inputs, people impacts, reversible energies. I saw those are, at least those are the 3 keys where the drives that we can lift the agriculture development. We can see we can get the greater outputs of people, greater outputs of the renewable energies, which will be available to the trained and equipped women and youth. We know we have so many unemployed, we have so many and so forth. With our vast resources and so forth, we then now country should be able to cry. We only have to coordinate our political visions. And then with the great vision, we can attain greater heights. Let's go to the next page, please. Yeah, the next page. I try to talk of the energy available to farmers, more lands, farmed, more harvests, more revenues, then the poverty. It be totally forgotten. The poverty, the hunger, and that. So you can see the African lands, the African people, the available reversible energies. With the land output, with the reversible energies, lead to land and the people greater output to be achieved. Right now, at this very moment, I'm under heavy rain. I hope you are getting my voice. 2 minutes ago, we were cold, and then we moved the sweaters, but we are sweating. The rain is now on. But again, in some time, it can be no rain. So production would not be. That's why I say we have to have the variables of the power, the variable power, the variable of the water, the variable of the people, the variable of the land, then their coordination. As our economists, like Dr. Ikechi can say, when you coordinate all those, you can be able to achieve our aim. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, the next slide I tried to use as a key to show at least one single component of the land, a single land of 1,000 hectares, grown with the soya beans, which is very essential, which has a harvest of about to have about 2,500 tons in one season. It could be like twice. But again, we have to have a greater input, supply, assurance of the water on that land. The tillaging the time, that's why we need mechanization. Then with the water, then with our people, then with our economies, then with the other industries are waiting to get for this legume for the oil, getting this legume for the cake, for the feed of the animals and so forth. You can see that a lot could be. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to go very far. I want to show the few questions. You can see the coordination, the resources utilization, the innovations like that MGM, and then this Pulse, and then with the other professionals with the power machinery, producing under coordination, and the use and equipping the people, the solution of the hunger, the solution of the SDGs can be achieved. In brief, that's what I have to say. But again, I say that I thank the EU Tech that has brought us aboard, that brought us together to share these ideas, and I feel that we can achieve more. Thank you very much for your listening.
Titus, thank you very much. I know that you are working very actively in these work streams of us, that you are preparing some very interesting projects, and you already prepared projects, because now we are working very actively in the work stream of German African cooperation on energy and agriculture projects. And Dr. Ikechi Agbugba is a professor from London, from England, sorry, is involved in this work. Dr. Ikechi, you have a big experience on these fields. What is your opinion on possibilities? What difficulties are there in using and developing of renewables on African continent, in your opinion? We can't hear you. No, unfortunately, we don't hear Ikechi. Thomas, then I would address this question to you. Yes, you showed us a very significant field of developing of renewables in Africa. Yes, because in Africa, as you mentioned and as underlined, there are many possibilities to many renewables. Yes, to get the sun, to get energy from ocean, from water, for example. Yes, but there are some difficulties, I think. And what are these difficulties that could break this development? How do you think?
So, look, Igor, I mentioned them before, but for me, the basic issue is the neglection of investment into infrastructure to reach the last mile. You know, that, over 60%, I don't know the number by heart, of people in Africa live in rural locations. They don't live in the ever-growing mega cities that we are also seeing due to, migration from rural environments to urban environments. And the main reason is lack of opportunity, lack of jobs, lack of economics, lack of industry, lack of many things. This is why young people migrate to big cities. And that is because there has been a neglection of infrastructure development in the hinterland, in the small villages, which is a dangerous development. So the grid doesn't reach there. It means many of those locations are off grid. It means that there is no energy. And for me, and I have been discussing this a lot also with Titus here, who had an excellent presentation, and with Dr. Ikechi, who unfortunately cannot speak. If you bring energy into those locations, you can see, a betterment, economic development, reduction of poverty, because you have energy that you can use for a business, for industry, for agricultural purposes, for many And you say, can it halt the development? I don't think it will halt the development, because the development has started, and more people in rural environments know that solar is there and can be used to do that. It's giving them access to those technologies, and like what Titus said before, is instrumental, is to teach them. Is the know-how about these technologies. They are there and they can help you. And if you bring this economic development there, and if you implement, renewable energies in those locations, you can develop those. And the decentralization that is critical. I come from a country that lives and is a champion of decentralized industry, economics, everything. You can grow into small villages. You have big industrial players there. You have the EU Tech Chamber that is in a small village in Bavaria and not in Munich, right? Because we developed our infrastructure and we made sure that down to the rural locations, there is jobs, there is economic development, everything. The same has to happen in Africa to bring true change. And for me, I'm very passionate about this. It cannot be, stopped anymore. I'm looking at all the other big projects that are fantastic. And, I love what I saw with MGN. I love those green hydrogen projects and everything. But if the transmission is not there, if we don't invest into the infrastructure on the last mile, we will create mega cities, the country will be empty, and no farmers will be left in the rural environment to feed their own population. Today, Africa is importing 60% of its knowledge, where it has 60% of the arable land is situated in Africa. That's a discrepancy that needs to change, and it will come, but it will demand private sector players, it will demand politicians, it will demand everybody to focus on this goal to bring true change through giving access to electricity in those locations. That's my opinion. We can discuss this.
Yes, Thomas. Thank you.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, because you're
Thank you.
welcome, Dr. Kechi.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and also Engineer Gakwaya and Tayo, who we had been here earlier, thinking that the time was at that time. And all your presentations are wonderful. To add to what Thomas said, and Thomas has really hit the nail at the head. And I work with Thomas and more than Titus, but Titus, we are trying to see how we can also discuss. And we are all under the umbrella of the EU Tech. And as an African, and can I say that the clean energy, the clean energy transition is an opportunity, just like Thomas mentioned about trying to translate or to transmit the solutions, what has already been on ground, and then trying to sensitize people, because there's lack of awareness about this opportunity. I'm telling you, is an opportunity for many African countries to, to bypass traditional fuels and infrastructure and go straight to building sustainable energy system, because it's sustainable. And okay, but they will really need the stakeholders and the government, private investors, Africans in diaspora groups, to support, also the international community, especially to attract the necessary investments. And that is what we are discussing today. And some of the challenges, of course, it's no longer news, availability of power quality issues, and resource allocation, information barriers, cost issues, and other resources. So we need to come up with strategy and on how to get to the government, because the government has a vital role to play. I don't normally subscribe to blaming the government anymore, because okay, now that we have found ourselves in knowledge sharing sessions and recommending to governments. What are we doing about that? I had to have a quick meeting with a resource from Kenya, and we were discussing on how we can reach out again to Rwanda and Zambia with some of the solutions which has already been approved by the World Bank for Uganda. So some of these opportunities are very timely for Africa, and I know that with all the resources under the EU Tech, like Thomas Rieger, who is from the German world, and I know that and many other persons also. I know we are having issues with funding opportunity, like Engineer Titus we were discussing the other day. So I believe that these sessions will also be replayed and relayed to the appropriate quarters for us to leverage on some of these funding solutions. And finally, recently, one of the sources of funding companies in the US contacted me the other day and said, there is massive funding for Africa now. And the amount of money that he mentioned is really mind-blowing. And he said, but we need proposals that will be able to be submitted to Windows projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ikechi. Thank you very much, Ikechi. Thank you. And it's a very great session, really. Yes, I am sure that we will. I see some questions in the chat, but I see also that Tayo is answering these questions. Yes, Tayo, please. So I see here very significant feedback. So it means that we are again an impact for the discussion. And to go further, we organize next week a working group networking meeting. Please register for free on our website. I will send you an invite. For it concerns all our participants, all our guests. So to get closer to the speakers, to the discussion, to the contacts and projects, please attend our networking meetings that are twice a month, and we are at 9 o'clock German time again, Thursday, next Thursday, for example. And now, as a small present, very traditional for us, we are planting trees for our speakers and panelists. And after every webinar, after every event, we are presenting these 3 certificates that confirm that a tree, for example, you see here for Thomas Rieger, has been planted in Africa, in Senegal, I think, and you see here with thanks undersigned of our chairman, a very well-known German businessman, Florian von Tucher. I am very, very glad to inform you that we have started funding programs to work on concrete funding programs on energy field between German and African companies. Please attend our LinkedIn group. Please write to me. Please book a meeting with me to be informed about it. I would like to extend this information, this project, and because it's very interesting. And today's discussion showed that there are so many possibilities from Africa and Africa. Now, I would underline it. It is now one of the importantest regions of the world, I think. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for all our distinguished speakers, panelists, attendants, and guests, friends and followers. I hope we will see each other on our next event in the beginning of December. Thank you very much. Have a great day and waiting for you in individual talks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Have a nice day and nice weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Please.
I need your telephone. Ayo.
Yes? Mr. Titus?
I have your telephone or email.
Okay.
I like that MGM very much.
Thank you very much.
You showed
Thank you.
the land utilization. If you can share the project also, it would be very useful. Taiwo?
Okay. Did you get
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's my telephone number.
Let me see. I can't see
And then
it
my
now.
email.
They are not yet on. It's blank. No email, no telephone.
Okay, you can say it now.
No.
Oh, look at the public chat. Look at the public chat. You can see it on the public chat.
I didn't link. Oh.
Yeah, check the public chat. The public chat is there. I just put my telephone number and email.
Mine is blank. Today it was cut off.
Wow.
Does the Ikechi
you can ask Dr. Gladkov. He has everything. He's going to forward them to you.
I will ask you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I like that it's very compact, and I ask you because actually I was trying to rule out the use of the solar. So it utilizes a lot of space for the land, which could have been for a produce. Though again also hydrogen comes in, but again I will still have until you have the hydrogen, and I will see it's the water, the machine, and then the technology. But